Boom, monkeys, and we are live. Welcome back to the Crypto Boogie channel. Welcome back to Tacos and Kimchi Crypto Stream. This is episode 4 with my amigo, the Angry Twinkie, who's about to hit his soundboard. Hit it, Twinkie.
Us.
And then we got friggin' doggone Moonpill Rational Optics first in the chat. Pow, primates. Pow. Shout out to you, amigo. Nellyville, what's up, man? Nellyville, I got some fucking fire ass fragrance for you tonight, man. You're gonna love this shit I'm gonna cover. And then we got Large and in Charge, tacos and some degenerate kimchi. What would degenerate kimchi entail, homie? I mean, how long is kimchi
right?
freaking put it underground, Twinkie?
I mean, it doesn't have to be put underground; just fermented is all.
Yeah.
Fermented and spiced, but if degenerate, I don't know. I guess you could like booze it up, right? Like make some vodka kimchi or something crazy.
Vodka. Speaking about vodka, man, look who we got in the chat, bro.
Hey, what's going on, Jay?
Soju and my kimchi tacos, man. Dude, I drank soju when I was up in Korea, bro. I gotta say, man, I'm more of a sake guy than what I am a soju guy, man.
I prefer vodka in the grand scheme of things, so I guess
man. You're a weird one there, Twinksters, because dude, Hebrew first name,
Italian last name, clearly half Korean, black from the waist down.
Yeah. Con Block likes, man. And then we got freaking Large and in Charge. Boogie, question for you. How do you know the tacos are from beef? Well, you don't. That's what makes them more flavorful, bro.
I hear he likes them torta tacos.
Smooth brain, feasting on the sauce. All right, cats. We got some pretty funny memes, dude. I was gonna try to push it tonight, man, with the freaking memes. I'm like, nah, dog, I don't want to get freaking banned, bro. I'm saying, even though I'm Mexican, I can make some illegal immigrant memes. Maybe next time, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, Twinkie, you ready for some memes or what?
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's do this shit. Let's see what we got. Is this it? Let's check out. Let us check this first, bro. Yeah, this is it. For you guys that are being harassed at work, this is for you cats. Remember, guys, don't tolerate sexual freaking advances at work because you'll get fired. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Gary.
Hi, can I talk to you about getting some more hours?
Sure. Why don't you grab this trash? We'll talk on the way to the dumpster.
Okay. Thank you so much for the hours, too, Donna. I really appreciate
Gary,
it.
if you need those hours, I'm going to need you to do something for me.
Okay,
why don't you come over after work? We can discuss this.
Okay, why are you touching me? No, I can't. I have a wife at home and a
newborn.
No,
Gary, your wife doesn't need to know. You can come over. We'll have a few drinks. Who knows what else might happen?
Okay, Donna, you're my boss.
You're not going to get any hours then.
Hey, Donna.
Don't be tolerating that from your bosses, guys. You know what I'm saying? Don't be tolerating that shit from your bosses. You know what I'm saying? That's too hilarious, man. Let's move on to the next one.
Excuse me, gentlemen. This is a $500 plate dinner. Good night.
Oh, 500. Oh, okay. All right, no problem. Here, put us down for 4, in case we want seconds.
Now, it's funny. I'm presenting this freaking meme because earlier today, me and Twinsters were having a conversation, man. We're talking about how crazy would it be, man, that doggone Shiba Inu gets to its all-time highs again and becomes the champion again this year. What do you think, Twinsters?
We'll see, but I mean, it's possible. You know, it'll hang on to its position. I did see that the dog with hat, let's say, community was looking to raise something like $600,000-$700,000 to put the stupid dog with a hat on the Vegas Sphere.
Oh wow, man! Yeah, that'll make them some back. Ship Foundation can do that as well, or the ship people can do that as well, man. Meme coins, it would not surprise me, man, if we do end up hitting a freaking all-time high on a meme coin again, bro. Because I mean, we're capable. We did it last time. We'd probably do it again. It would not surprise me if Pepe ends up becoming the main meme coin of this crypto cycle. Hence why I am going to cover the chart today. Now, Twinksters, do you remember when freaking Pepe rallied within the pulse chain ecosystem?
Yeah, they had like the Pulse Pepe, and then there's the ETH Pepe, and yeah, that
I even remember Richard Hart freaking posting a liquidity pool on that, man.
yeah,
On the app.pulsex.com. I remember he did that shit, and the incentive was pretty damn decent. You know what I mean?
yeah. The only incentive pool I've been running in on Pulse Chain has been that Pulse. Well, it's not entirely true. PulseX to Pulse, been running that, and that's just been sitting in the background pretty much as soon as I could get in, just letting it pile up. Which hey, Ink has been doing wonderful things.
Yeah,
And
dude.
then,
I regret getting out of my ink position, if anything, dog.
yeah. Glad so far. Glad I hung on to the majority of that one, and then I'm still yielding some stuff on 9-inch.
Yeah. All right, cats. Let's move on to the first coin of the day, and we've got none other than LBTC Bitcoin. Now, last stream that I went ahead and I conducted for you cats, you guys noticed that I drew up these two channels over here. Twinksters, I drew up these two channels because it was kind of oscillating sideways, and I was explaining to the audience that, of course, I like to see scaffolding, but this scaffolding I think is a little bit more superior. Let me explain why, man. Usually you see scaffolding, you come up this way, you come back down, you come up, you come back down, and you come up and you come back down. This one's a little bit different, man. This one's a little bit more, we oscillate sideways, come back up, oscillate sideways, come back up. And I think that creates a little bit more support resistance, bro, because you've got more candles that are oscillating sideways, which I think is pretty damn cool. And that's what I'm noticing in this chart here. I had never really picked up on that till last time, hence why I drew those two little channels within the Bitcoin chart. So I'm assuming these are going to be awesome areas of support, if anything. Now, this is on the daily, and as you guys can see, the RSI, it does present us at a price point, or not a price point, a rating of about 79.51. Hence, it's overheated. I do think eventually we will come down to we do have to retrace, man. We can't just keep going up forever. And if it does, we'd break the 60-day cycle all the way into the Bitcoin halving. So if you see over here, the measurement I have right now for Bitcoin, as far as we're going, we're at approximately day 49. I think that will probably go all the way up to maybe day 55. We're 49, somewhere over here around March 19th. This is just a gut feeling, give or take, or all the way up to 60. March 23rd. And these are just gut feelings as to when we may end up dipping a little bit before we start continuing a new freaking run on the Bitcoin freaking cycle. Now, if I activate my EMA ribbon, you can see that we do have a shitload of support that is extending into this freaking little channel that I have here for these couple of candles. And you can see that the EMA ribbon continues freaking expanding out. And if it's expanding out, it means you're going to continue getting volatility. And of course, the yellow portion of the EMA ribbon is to the top side. Red portion is to the bottom side, entailing that it is bullish, and we're going to continue running. Now, one thing I haven't checked today is how it's doing with its Bollinger Bands. We're still 1, 2, 3 standard deviations away from being overheated. And if I take my measuring tool and I blow this sucker up all the way over here to the white portion of the EMA ribbon or the Bollinger Band, that's still 23% where it could run up to. And that measurement would be approximately at about 90,000. Could it get up to 90,000? It is possible before we start going for a dip, but I'm not that bullish. I am bullish, but I'm not that freaking bullish. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the moving averages, the 50, the 100, and the 200, we're way above that. Those really don't have any freaking significance to what we're going through right now. And the closest data we do have is the EMA ribbon, or at least the data that I'm utilizing, the EMA ribbon and the Bollinger Bands. Now, let's go ahead and look at the weekly. Let's see how this sucker doing on the weekly, son. Now, on the weekly, I did draw this up. We are due for a correction into freaking wave 4. I mean, we've been running pretty solid from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3. I'm assuming that, I mean, something's got to give, man, eventually. I mean, we are realistically in price discovery right now, and there should be some time soon that we should be topping out around day 60 or so, or day 65. before we end up retracing down here to the fourth portion of the Elliott wave, which would be at about 52,000, give or take. Now, another area we could do for the fourth portion of the Elliott wave, if we look at our candles over here, we do see a little bit of support on these two candles over here. That's lining up with these other candles over here, which is a total of about 4 days. Let me go ahead and set that up for you cats. You guys see what I mean right there. Boom. And it would not surprise me if the fourth portion of the Elliott wave possibly comes down here to about 59 or maybe even 53. I'm starting to believe that we're not going to retrace back down to 49,000 or 50,000. And I think the lowest we'll go is 52. You know what I'm saying? So let me go back. Since I did show you cats the memes and things of that nature. Now, me and Twinkie were talking about this today, especially with the possibility of Donald Trump being reelected into office. And I don't know if you cats got to see what he said today on Twitter. Well, it wasn't on Twitter. It was posted on Twitter when I found it. And I went ahead and I shared it on my Twitter page. And let me show you cats what I mean. You see this, Twingsters?
Yes, I do.
All right, let's hit this shit.
Well, it's taken its own life. You know, I do little things sometimes for fun and, you know, make money with it. But I have fun with it too.
You mean you bought
NFTs.
Bitcoin?
No. But I sometimes will let people pay through Bitcoin, or will let people get involved in a new. It's, you know, if you think of it, it's an additional form of currency. And I used to say, you know, I want one currency. I want the dollar. I don't want people leaving the dollar. And I feel that way. But I will tell you, it has taken on a life. I did a thing that people smile at, but it was wild. We did 1,000 sneakers, so limited edition sneaker run. The last one, and you could go through, you know, our crazy new currencies, because that's what I call them. They're crazy, whether it's Bitcoin or others. And so many people were buying these things. And ultimately, the last pair of sneakers sold for approximately, I hear, $450,000. It was a limited edition, a run. They were gold. They were, you know, nice, cute. And we thought it was just a very small thing. It was a branding thing, and had a good time with it. The last pair sold for $450,000. People were going crazy for these sneakers. You probably were too. Everybody was. I have every friend I have has called me for a pair of sneakers. So it just took off. And I noticed that so many of them were paid for with this with the new currency. And it is that. It's a new cryptocurrency. And I couldn't believe the amount. And I'm saying, you know, this thing has really, and other things I do, people are using it. And, you know, I would be, I'm very much a traditionalist. I like staying with the dollar. You know that from when I was there. It's make the dollar the choice. I hate when countries go off the dollar. I would not allow countries to go off the dollar, because when we lose that standard, that will be like losing a revolutionary war. That will be a hit to our country, just like losing a war. And we can't let that happen. And too many countries now are fighting to get off the dollar. And frankly, and I know Jay feels strongly about this, and Jay did a fantastic job, by the way, in a group where there's always scandal and problems. Jay went through 4 years. There wasn't one scandal. I don't know, Jay, maybe you can tell me, but there wasn't one scandal. That is the most scandalous position, because it involves massive amounts of money. With Jay Clayton, we had no scandal, zero, nothing whatsoever. So I thought it was great. But I have seen there has been a lot of use of that, and I'm not sure that I'd want to take it away at this point.
So there you go, cats. It does seem that Mr. Trump is a little bit bullish on the whole frickin' crypto space. So that's always a frickin' positive, if anything, man. What do you think about that, Twinksters?
Certainly hope he gets the W for, you know, my wallet, which I think would be much appreciated, as well as for potential future mad gains.
Yeah, I concur, man.
Pretty sure I don't know if you saw this, Biden was pushing for eliminating the wash sale rule and going after more taxes for crypto and a few other things. But I saw, once again, advocating elimination of the wash sale rule for, or I should say, the loophole, so to speak, that crypto is able to leverage.
Yeah. For the people that don't understand, what does that mean? The wash sale rule.
Yeah, so for stocks and the like, you can't necessarily. There's a window of time, essentially a blackout period when you sell out before you can rebuy. Crypto is not financial advice, not legal advice, not accounting advice. Please speak with your CPA. Crypto, generally speaking, is able to leverage a loophole by virtue of being a different asset class. So I think he also wanted a mining excise tax and a few other things, which he was claiming ultimately would help recoup. I think it was to the tune of 10 billion over the years.
Yeah.
So I would need to go re-review those figures and the like, but 10 billion, it's all right. We're just going to spend it away, before we get done this stream, realistically speaking.
Yeah. I'm definitely bullish on this shit. If anything, dude, I do think that if Donald Trump does win, bro, I think the crypto market's going to continue rallying a lot harder, and we'll talk about that later in the stream. But I feel good for the cats, man, that ended up getting those Donald Trump NFTs, man. Dude, I was late on those, bro. I didn't get to freaking grab a portion of those, man. I think those are going to do fabulously great as we approach the election, man. If anything, know what I mean?
Yeah, you know who's killing it in the BTC game? I guess the one true BTC god, so to speak, Sailor Moon on that front. As of this morning, I believe I read that MicroStrategy has more Bitcoin than all other Bitcoin treasuries combined. So he's currently got more than BlackRock by way of MicroStrategy, plus his individual holdings on top of it. I don't think that's going to last forever, quite frankly. I think some of those other firms are just going to be running the Hoover 24/7, trying to suck up as much BTC as they can. But for the moment, Michael Saylor, long may he reign on that stuff. Yeah, he's killing it in the game, and he's got to feel pretty good. He's got to feel great. He's laughed at buying the tops all last cycle. He DCA'd and brought his way down. Last I saw, he was taking a collateralized loan for MicroStrategy or through MicroStrategy to pick up like $600 million to go buy more BTC. Mad lad. We'll see.
I thought he was buying ETH too, man. I think I heard somebody say that he was going to try to get his hands on ETH.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean,
on
dude,
that
all
front.
Bitcoin maxis end up evolving into Ethereum eventually, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's
It's like a lot of the gold bugs say, I'll never buy anything other than gold. Then they end up evolving into silver. You know what I'm saying?
No, speaking of silver, I believe we flipped silver.
Yeah, we did. Especially after the UK had freaking authorized some data with Bitcoin, bro, that we ended up flipping it, if anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think when I eyeballed it this morning, it was like 1.4 trillion or something for BTC market cap.
Yeah, I concur. Now, try to bring up that data on silver, Twinkie. I'm going to show these cats the Ethereum chart. Since we're talking about silver, let's talk about the silver coin of the crypto space, which is Ethereum, which is kicking everybody's ass when it comes to freaking damn gas fees. You know what I'm saying? Royally, if anything. So,
yes. Quick comment on that one, Boogie, because I know, like, I believe for some interesting factoids, this is like the first time since 2021 that we've been above 4K for ETH on that front.
I know, really? 2021.
I think so. Since like the 2021 market, don't hold me to it, but I believe that's correct. The other thing we've got going on is this narrative Denkun update later this week, I believe, if everything goes according to plan.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about that, about making it a lot cheaper for the gas fees via layer 2s, right?
For layer 2s. Yeah, that's the thing. I think I've been in a few chats and people seem to be getting mixed up. And they're like, oh, ETH fees are going to go down. Yeah, mainly for layer 2s on that. And then, okay, there might be some sort of like proxy benefit to L1s because I think L2 submission fees account for like 10% of L1 fees. So there will be, I would anticipate some level of knock-on effect. I don't think it's going to be anything close to what, quite frankly, I think a lot of misguided members in the community might be expecting. So I don't think people really read into what that update is going to entail. Really, the update is going to benefit L2s.
Yeah, speaking of L2s, man, before I get into the Ethereum chart, and I guess I'll re-mention this again when we approach Hex, because we are going to talk about Hex today, cats. Of course, we can't leave that freaking stone unturned. Coffee, he had made a video how to onboard into Pulse Chain by utilizing Arbitrum, and I think he used some aspect where, you buy Ethereum on Coinbase, and when you want to transfer out, you can choose which network you want to transfer out of. And then he transfers out on the Arbitrum network, and then he uses another exchange. I forgot the name of it, bro. It's got a heart on it. I think it's Sparks or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Spark
And then
swap.
Spark swap. And from there, he ends up freaking swapping out into freaking Pulse Chain side. Some of my homies were looking at it, man, and I think I was talking to my boy Tex Mex, and he was telling me, dude, this is almost $400 worth of freaking Pulse Chain, and I'm gonna lose out if I do this damn trade. But of course, I haven't tried it, so I can't really confirm or deny that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and one of those things I wonder if it's impacted. I would anticipate it is to certain levels. How much you're looking to rotate over or bridge over on that front. There might be some other avenues to get from point A to point B, such as using Portal X on there too. Regardless, in all cases, we need easier on ramping into the Pulse Chain ecosystem. So right now, if you got to go through the Ethereum bridge, I suppose it's better than nothing. It is stable at least. Sure, it can take a while right now. We just need more on ramps for that. And I know Coast was saying that they've got a few partners that they're looking to spin up on that front to ease some of the onboarding pains.
Yeah, that would make sense, man. I already saw some cats complaining on Twitter, man, saying, all right, man, they were saying something to the effect of, okay, Richard, you went ahead and you freaking dumped EHEX. Well, he didn't dump it, but he had basically freaking said that the main thing to utilize was PHEX, not to really use EHEX. And this cat was complaining that, okay, well, I mean, dude, bridging over costs a lot of freaking money too. It cost him about $120 to bridge over onto Pulse Chain side. And then earlier today, I was talking to my amigo, Moonpill Rational Optics, and we're talking about this shit, man. That the fees is what's going to whack a lot of people from onboarding over to the Pulse Chain side, if anything, especially boots. For you cats that don't know what boots means, newbies that are coming into the crypto space. And me and Twinkie were talking about this earlier today as well. That, yes, I mean, senior guys like ourselves that have been in crypto for a little while, we know how to use bridges. We know how to use freaking different networks, how to bridge over on different sides, use Spark Swap and all that other stuff. But that's really not newbie friendly. A lot of newbies, they just want to buy on freaking Robinhood and just hold the tokens there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see. Speaking of Ethereum, did you see Gensler last week on Bloomberg?
No. What do you say?
Yeah, he was he punted on a question on whether or not Ethereum is a security. Said he would defer answering the question, I believe what his statement was.
Oh yeah, I did see that, man. I know what you're talking about. Who is submitting for the Ethereum ETF? Is it BlackRock?
I would have to go back and see.
Or is that Grayscale? One of those two, man. I think it's BlackRock or Grayscale.
Van Eck and ARK, I think, are coming up in May.
Those are the ones that are, dude, I think that they're going to have to end up freaking filing a lawsuit the same way they did with Bitcoin. There's no way in hell Gary Gensler's going to approve that, bro. No way in freaking hell, dude.
No.
Now, if the court's not on his ass, bro, this cat's not going to approve it. And I think a lawsuit's the only way that's going to fix it. That or Donald Trump gets elected and he replaces Gary Gensler with somebody that's freaking pro-crypto.
I'm forgetting her last name. She's a lawyer for the SEC, so technically Gary's her boss. She was at ETH Denver the other week. She has publicly disagreed with Gensler on the SEC stance, not so much about Ethereum in and of itself, but agreeing that there's a complete lack of clarity on that. And that she had some satirical call out, I think, on Twitter, or it might have been at ETH Denver. Anyway, she was saying the gist of it was, hey, we would like to file. We can't necessarily tell you easily how to file. Well, does the SEC consider this security? Well, we can't tell you that either, but we recommend you get a lawyer. I am a lawyer. Who do I need to contact? Well, we can't tell you that either. And so she was willing to disagree with her boss publicly. Lawyer is Pierce. I can't remember her first name. Anyway, I thought that was a positive sign overall that somebody over there is at least thinking critically and can appreciate the, let's say, challenges faced by different development teams, crypto projects, and the consumer as far as what these assets are or are not. Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, I'm glad there's somebody on the team that's at least disagreeing with her. I'm just hoping he doesn't can her, bro. You know what I'm saying? If anything.
Yeah, well, the hell of it is, bro. Yeah, the hell of it is, maybe for some of the newer viewers who aren't familiar with Gensler's history, he was a lecturer at MIT, and in 2018, he was saying Ethereum is not a security. So
Well, yeah, man, freaking, they got his hand. I mean, the government's got their hand so far up his ass, they're using him like a fucking muppet, bro. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
Like sock puppet, if anything. You know what I mean? So he's got to do what he's told, man. Kind of like the way John Cena came out in the recent awards half naked because hey, he's got new masters now. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. And yeah, confirmed we did flip silver. So I think silver was sitting at around a 1.3 trillion market cap, and Bitcoin flipped it. So
Show us that shit. Let's see it.
just quickly
You
glance at
just
some stuff. Yeah. So I can tell you if
hey,
you go glance at coin market cap, Bitcoin sitting at 1.421 trillion and some change.
cool. So
Total
I mean,
market
at least
cap at 2.73 trill. So we're getting up there. Stuff's getting warm.
yeah, man, it's getting freaking heated, son. It is getting freaking heated. Speaking about heated and talking about Ethereum, let's move on to the Ethereum chart, bro. But look at this shit, homie. Look at this shit, Twinksters.
Yeah.
Look at that, man. Just straight up. You know what I'm saying?
Up and to the right.
Little to no scaffolding, homie. None of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When's the last time we potentially had any scaffolding, right? It was probably 20. If we have any, it's probably around 21, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, these
Late
green lines.
2021.
Yeah, these green lines. Well, I mean, on the daily though, these are the only green lines I have for scaffolding, bro. You know what I'm saying? And maybe we could drop another trend line right here. Boom. Right there. And then a little one here. But these are 2-day scaffolds, man. I like to see them at least 4 or 5 days, man, because you almost get through half of the week and that causes a lot of freaking support and shit. And you can say, okay, maybe we're scaffolding here at the current value of about, or the value we just crossed at about 39.41. And dude, today we did have a little bit of a pump, if anything. This candle in itself, if we measure it, you're talking about what? The recent candle was at least doggone 9% that we did today. That ain't bad.
No, not at all. And yeah, I think we haven't really seen, kind of been in this ballpark since late 2021 on this. So similar to yourself, I would like to see a little more, let's say, sideways action just to build out
Oh,
additional levels of support. Seems like we are definitely running hot. I know off stream we were chatting, like we seem to be running a little ahead of schedule on the BTC halving too. More recent updates I've seen have been calling for it now. It's looking like April 15th. Shout out to Paul Sachs. Thank you. It was Hester Pierce. That was the lawyer's name. Couldn't remember that name.
yeah. You were saying, Twinksters, about say it again. What you were
Yeah.
covering?
Market's running hot, right? Seems like we're running hot a bit of ahead of schedule. And the we've said it before. The giant wild card here is ETF money. And obviously it's had a tremendous impact on Bitcoin, where I think was like the first gold ETF to hit 10 bill took like 2 to 3 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
one of the Bitcoin ETFs did it in 7 weeks.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, of
So,
course.
we got the afterburners turned on. Whether or not this is a good thing, I think that's a to be determined. I see Moonpill's calling like everything's running 8 months ahead of time. Yeah. Are we
Yeah.
running 8 months ahead of time? Or the question here is, given the change of conditions, does the old aspects of prior modeling still apply? Yeah, have we hit the limit of that model, and now the conditions have changed enough to the point where we are in some sort of brave new territory, unexplored world? I don't know. We're going to find out. Hopefully it's continues to be up and to the right well into 2025. So I can upgrade, from let me quit my day job and move on to some other things to let me pick up a few extra NSXs for whatever time of year it is and just get them in different color combinations.
Yeah, man. Aftermarket color combinations, if anything. And freaking Bitcoin and Ethereum is doing hot when your dad calls you, when your boomer dad calls you and tells you, hey, man, hey, Boogie, is Ethereum a good time to buy right now? And I'm like, Dad, no, it's way, way too overheated, Dad. Way, way too overheated, if anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking about overheated, we were talking about timelines and shit like that as to when Bitcoin could end up freaking, or when we could hit our tops. And I did come up with this chart. I showed it on the last Kimchi and taco stream we did with DCC. And let me show it to you, cats, for you guys that want to hear that time. This is a chart I did create with the help of Mr. Twinksters here. Well, what I went ahead and I mapped out the bottoms on the weekly. So these green lines, let me go ahead and make them a little bit freaking, let me increase the pixel size so you guys can see a little bit more clearly. Put it at about 3 pixels. And these bottom lines indicate when BTC hit the bottom. And the blue lines, or these blue measurement tools, is measuring from the bottom to its all-time high. And the first one we ever had created 113 bars. So from the time Bitcoin hit its bottom to the time it hit its top, it was approximately 791 days for the first time. And Twinksters, you had mentioned that this was rather of an oddball because it was the first one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'd be curious to know what some of the, let's say, ultra vet TA folks out in the chat think. And like, I always struggle dealing with that first cycle. It's kind of like, is it an extended cycle or is it really like there's a half cycle buried in there? I'm never quite 100% sure how to treat that, but subsequent cycles straighten out and are pretty reliable. That first one always messes with my calculations.
Yeah, I figured. I'm assuming because it's chaos theory, homie. I mean, there's never consistency of anything. Know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the 0 to 1 moment.
Yeah. And then the next time we ended up hitting the bottom was here the first time we hit the bottom was around November 11th, the November timeframe of 2011. And the next time we hit the bottom after that was around January 2015. And that bottom was at approximately, $150? And if we measure out from the bottom to the top, it was approximately 1,064 days, give or take, measuring from the bottom to the top. Then the next cycle, which was the third one, and that was when we bottomed out ballpark 2018 of December, somewhere around that time frame. And I measured from that bottom to the last high we had, which was in 2021, which we have recently compromised, and that was 1,071 days. So I'm seeing that consistency of 1,064, 1,071. So now I measured the bottom, which was November of 2022, and only time will tell to see if we'll stick consistently with 1,064 to 1,071 to maybe 1,080 days. So what I went ahead and I pulled it out to 1,071 days, and that came out roughly to around November 2025. Now, Twinksters, you had data that was in contrast to this.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to, let's see here, throw my screen up, I can talk through that a little bit.
Sure.
All right. So one of my favorite TA guys that I like to reference, or teams, like whomever it is out there, Rect Capital, go give them a follow. A lot of interesting ideas come across that. I like to shout out some of the other folks that I like to either get inspired by or shamelessly rip off portions of their work and try to incorporate it into some of my own modeling and the like to see, hey, does this jive? Maybe it's a different way of looking at something. Certainly, I think we're generally looking for elements of confluence where certain things start coming together, either historic patterns, additional on-chain data, additional FA information and the like, and start to figure some stuff out. So anyway, what you see here, I got a few different things drawn up on the having in the blues. In the purples, I was looking at all-time high breaking to moving on to sort of a next significant or major all-time high, potentially cycle all-time high, depending on how you're counting some things. Again, cycle 1 gets a little wonky, or first cycle back in 11. But as you look in subsequent ones, it starts to straighten out a bit on this one. So most of what I'm looking at here, again, shout out to Rec Capital on this, because remember, folks, when you shamelessly rip off one person, that is plagiarism. When you shamelessly rip off a bunch of people, that is research. So as I kind of skim through this and look at the interval of time, so again, did we break the previous cycle's all-time high? Then how many days was it to the next cycle all-time high? Rinse, repeat on this. If we're looking at that and we broke the cycle all-time high, full disclosure, this is just a quick mock-up. I didn't necessarily drill down to the day. I took the rough daily count and then applied it to the weeks on this chart. That potentially puts us out, if that timing pattern holds true, as early as October of this year, potentially out to January, February of next year. So
okay.
Yeah.
So early this October, that will be a possibility when we can hit our all-time high.
Yeah, again, based on this timing pattern, yes. And so there potentially is some interesting information floating around out there. Shout out also to one of the other TA guys I follow, CryptoCon, who has a very interesting theory that I hadn't come across before. He uses this technique for sine wave theory and merging that with cycles theory. So by his estimate, we're potentially looking out at November on this with a cycle top towards the end of 2024. So I found that interesting because that's a fairly recent post from him. In fact, it was from earlier today on that one. And it somewhat aligns with that breaking through prior cycle all-time high to setting the next all-time high in the next cycle. So that interval kind of lines up. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled for that one. As far as a few other doodles and the like I got in the chart, I got the rough halving updated over here on that and just drew a couple of quick trend lines out. So we're sitting at around 72 G's to 72,000 on Bitcoin. I know Sami had previously called for 80K. So on current trend, potentially, again, trend on this one, potentially we could be looking at that pretty close to the halving. I saw, who was it? Bernstein Research has called for 150K for Bitcoin, potentially.
That's the yellow line, right?
Yeah, this year. So I said just strictly based on the trend, when might we see that happening? That's kind of late December, potentially right around the turn of the year on that one. And then I know Richard Hart had that 240K-ish call on that. And so on that trend line, potentially we're looking out at July 25. So it's interesting as we got a number of different theories, and it's very difficult to try to project this stuff. At the end of the day, we're all coming up with all these assorted models. It's interesting when it fits retroactive data. Predicting and projecting the future is much more difficult. Last thing I want to call out tonight is I was flipping through some of the Glassnode data, and one of the things that jumped out at me today was the Pi cycle top indicator bumping right up against that top line. So it's not quite there. We can zoom in a little bit on there, but it's basically just following it along and glued to it. So we'll see how that shapes up. Historically, that's been a useful top indicator for aspects of the market. If you're not familiar with the Pi cycle top indicator, it's historically been pretty useful for at least retroactively confirming top of the cycle and potentially, good profit taking opportunity. We'll see if we get like a double top type scenario or how the rest of this market shapes up. Look into Bitcoin. There's a number of different potentially useful charts over there, but that was one of the ones that jumped out at me today is the fact that as far as Bitcoin price performance, it is hugging that line pretty tightly right now. So we'll have to stay tuned on that one. Certainly, I would love to see an extended run out through 25, 26. If not, at the end of the day, we got to be prepared to take what the market gives us.
No, I concur, Twinksters. Now, me and Twinkie were talking about this earlier, and I told him, I think a big indicator, a huge indicator to tell if we'll continue to run in 2025 is if Donald Trump gets reelected, bro. Because as per what we heard earlier today, he does seem bullish on Bitcoin, man. And that'll probably Gary Gensler will get replaced if that occurs. I don't know in what timeline Gary Gensler will get replaced, or maybe if he'll throw in the hat before the election takes place on that date. But I do believe that if Trump does get reelected, that we're going to see the market rally again the way it did in 2016 when he got into office. The following day, we got a big-ass market rally. Now, what I wish I would have done for this stream, I wish I would have looked at the Bitcoin chart after the day that Donald Trump had gotten elected to see what we could possibly end up doing as we approach the election, man. I think if Joe Biden gets the presidency, of course, if he goes ahead and he steals it the way he did last time, hopefully I don't get shut down for that shit. I think that we'll probably get a significant dip, if anything, bro, and people will become bearish. Because I do remember back in 2008 when Obama did get elected, the stock market did fall the following day. You know what I mean? So, speaking about all this freaking political shit, let's move on to the rest of the tokens. And this is not really politically related, but we saw what happened with Richard Hart as of recent, as to what he stated with with Hex. Twinkie, I forgot to ask you to do this, man. Can you pull up the tweet for RH?
Sure. Give me 1 second here.
Well,
he's been active on Twitter right now. Shout out to Paul Sachs giving us the heads up on this. Paul saying Richard's been tweeting a bunch over the last hour.
Oh, has he?
Yeah. So we'll hop over there, second. I know you're about to pull up you got that Hex chart on screen. For me, it was interesting because I was out at the Pulse Chain live tour run by Captain RG3 last week. Had the opportunity to meet up with DCC, Charlie, Hex Monkey, Got to speak with RH Max, Crypto Coffee, DIY investing, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a few other folks in the mix throughout that. All very
Axis.
Axis too. Yeah. Axis, very tall man. Dude's a giant. Anyway, so the super interesting meeting, and one of the things I really appreciated was RG3 saying, okay, look, it's time for us to put away the fangs and claws if we want to onboard people. We don't, I'm paraphrasing here, we don't have to be so combative. He's like, look, I don't look at charts, I look at big moves, big money moves, like, what are these major asset firms doing, what's happening with OTC deals. If we want this stuff to thrive and for numbers to go up, we have to onboard people. We got to reach out to other communities versus being so combative. And I know, Boogie, you and I have talked about this. We love our Pulse Chain bags and Pulse X bags. My EHEX bag hurt my feelings the other day.
Dude,
But,
yeah. Dude, everybody in this chat knows how much of an EHEX bull I am, bro. I freaking love EHEX. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It is what it is on this front. Shout out to Apex Hex from the DGen Roundtable team. He tossed me a thread of an idea, and I just had to start tugging on it and go down the rabbit hole. I think part of the reason, this is me speculating, I don't have any direct confirmation from anyone on this, but just looking at some of the stuff. In a prior life, I did do some programming. I am very rusty at it. I did do it in the medical information systems and diagnostic space. But I was looking at some of these things in Solidity. I don't program in Solidity, but I can kind of unravel a few things. And to me, it looks like there's this function S-load that impacts gas, and it's hard coded into the hex contract. The hex contract is immutable. So there's this dependency on this S-load function in Ethereum and through Solidity that is immutable and thus locked off to Richard Hart and team. So the issue here is the contract was basically released, and then Ethereum changed the behavior of S-load. So on paper, long story short here, is it looks like the people who will be most negatively impacted by gas fees are the people who have the longest stakes, because S-load performs a calculation. Basically, we know the longer your staking length, the more intense that calculation is going to be. AKA your Quattro Cincos right now on paper would be the most negatively impacted as time goes on.
And
so
this
part
S-load, this
Yep.
S-load aspect, that's a part of the Ethereum thing, not part of the Hex thing, right?
Correct. So here's the I think the dilemma that Richard Hart found himself in. Again, this is just me speculating here. I certainly don't propose to speak for anyone on that front, but my understanding of this, and for anyone in the chat or audience or any viewers who are not catching this live but catching the replay, please leave us a comment. I would love to be more educated on this. This is my understanding as of the moment. Is the hex contract makes this function call to S-load, and that is hard coded in the contract. That contract is immutable. It cannot be changed. The Ethereum Foundation changed that behavior and changed the pricing surrounding it after Hex was released. So basically, all Richard Hart and team can do is hope that someday, somehow, somewhere, some way, the Ethereum Foundation finds a way to reduce the gas fees associated with long-term S-load calls and calculations. Where I'm from, hope is not a strategy. So I'm speculating on this one. He decided, hey, at some point in time, we got to pull the trigger because he doesn't want, people using Hex to continue to get buried and burned for who knows how long, because we don't know when the Ethereum Foundation will ever fix that. So I'm thinking there's some part of his thought process that involves pulling the Band-Aid off and guiding people towards Hex on Pulse Chain v Hex.
It may be they will fix it, man. It's just given some time. I mean, they have been making upgrades on Ethereum. And speaking to that, Twinksters, I mean, people tend to forget. And I'm not saying, this is not financial advice, and I'm not telling you to hold on to your EHEX or anybody to hold on to their EHEX. But people forget what friggin' Hex is. Hex is Bitcoin. But it's, at the time, it had another feature to it, which you could stake. Now you just can't stake it. And if you look at Bitcoin in itself, you really can't stake Bitcoin. It doesn't permit. It's the way it was designed. It was never designed to be that way. So in essence, Hex can just be held. Now, I was talking to some of my homies, and they're like, "Well, what do we do, Boogie? What do we do with our EHEX?" And I'm like, "Well, this is not financial advice, man. But like, if you feel that you don't believe in EHEX anymore, I'm not dumping a lot of it. I told him, dude, you could freaking sell half of it and put it into AVAX. And the reason I said AVAX is because AVAX has been one of those movers that hasn't really been very aggressive as we've been rallying into the current value of Bitcoin and Ethereum. You could use that to cultivate some of your other crypto bags like PulseX, PulseChain, PHEX, and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Now,
Yep.
as far as end staking goes, I've been hearing a lot of people have been emergency end staking their EHEX freaking doggone stakes. And I think that's retarded. Tell you the truth, Twinkie. I think that's stupid, man. I wouldn't do that because, dude, you're going to waste a lot of money on freaking doggone Ethereum gas fees when you can go be buying PHEX or PulseX or PulseChain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
So
anything, go ahead.
yeah, I cut my, one of the things I learned in 21 was I got to do a better job of overall capital preservation. So as soon as that thing hit my, Twitter phone and I was getting alerts on that, I was like, all right, I got to make a decision here. Look, nobody gets everything perfect in life, and especially not in the crypto space, right? It's inevitable. You're going to take some level of L's. So I made the decision, absolutely not doing any early end stake or emergency end stake on my existing stakes. However, my liquid hex bag, I cut my losses and threw some into DAI, threw some into ETH, and made some other moves throughout the day, ultimately culminating to I put some in Illuvium, some to IMX, and then push the rest over to Pulse Chain to throw in some other tokens there. And hey, Paul Sachs, if you're on Telegram, by all means, hit me up. I'd love to have a more nerdy conversation around this type stuff relative to programming and the like. Thanks for that. Yeah, my thought was, I recall hearing or reading that it was related to like essentially spamming the network to try to improve security. And I think there's probably some level of conspiracy theory, or maybe it is partially true that it might have been targeted towards Hex, or it could just be Hex's collateral damage as part of those changes. So as far as the EES here, I see Richard tweeted this out a few hours back, like earlier today. 21 million spent on end stakes today.
Wow. So yeah, it goes back to what I was saying, man. Why emergency unstake your shit? If you do have to do anything with your freaking stakes, dude, just use good accounting. That's what I intend to do. Hold those suckers till when freaking the bear market comes back, and then I'll extract my EHEX. But I don't think I'm going to dump it right now, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Some people have been saying that it is a new meme coin. Yeah, you can say that's correct. So I'll keep my shit liquid. So whenever it does freaking rally, if it does, I can go ahead and freaking make some profits off that, if anything. You know what I mean? But people forget as well that we do have PHEX stakes that were copied over. And I mean, those were free. So, I mean, you really can't complain if they were free, dog. You know what I'm saying?
So this is kind of the question that's going on in my brain is, okay, OA has been making some moves here. My question here is, what's gonna, the increased backing of PHEX potentially versus EHEX? Look, EHEX is a smart contract. It's not going away anytime soon, so it'll still continue to exist. My thought here is, so long as there's liquidity for Hex, it's still alive. So I do see an opportunity, similar to other meme coins, to maybe do some trades on liquid EHEX in the coming however long it is. But I think there's also a lot of overall still economic mass on the Ethereum side of things. So I don't see it dying. It'll certainly be reduced, in my mind, in overall prominence on that front. In retrospect, it was not a stock split. It was a transfer.
Yeah. And Richard Hart did mention that the real hex is PHEX, if anything. Now, cats, I see 44 people in the chat. I did freaking load up Twinkie's data at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and freaking give him a follow there. I know Paul's actually been wanting to get a hold of him. I've got his YouTube channel on there, and I've got his Twitter channel. Now, for all you monkeys here, for all you 45 monkeys here, please do me a favor and like the video, share the video. The more you guys subscribe to my channel, the more this motivates me to drop you guys some free alpha, if anything. Now, speaking onto what freaking Moonpill Rational Optics was talking about, what do you believe EHEX will do now? Let me show you guys the charts on EHEX, if anything. And this is currently EHEX. And we see that the current value is at about 42% of a penny. Now, I would say that we're still good to go as long as we don't freaking get a candle past 2% of a penny, if anything. And the low for that was on this day here at about October 16th, 2023. That's when we got to our freaking low. And I think as long as we maintain that, EHEX will be fine. I'm not saying we're going to make new all-time highs, if anything, but you guys can see this Giga Chad frickin' doggone bullish engulfing candle that took up everything when Richard tweeted that. And we're slightly above the area where we freaking topped down at, and that was almost at about 40% of a penny. Now, if we do look at the wick did come down all the way over here, the scam wick, to about 16% of a penny, if anything. But I think EHEX is still fine as long as we maintain that. This is not financial advice, cats. Now, I can't just show you EHEX without not showing you PHEX, if anything, monkeys. So let's go over the PHEX chart. Do I have it up? Yes, I do. Here it is. Current value on EHEX, and we did get about a 30% dump today, believe it or not. We rallied pretty hard yesterday after Richard tweeted that data, and if we pull it all the way up, we did approximately a 50%, 57%, almost 60% freaking candle freaking run to the upside, of course, with a giant ass wick. And then today, if I take this same freaking chart right here to the bottom, to the top of this candle, to the bottom of this candle, we did do about a 30% dip, and we are holding at about 2 pennies and 16% of a penny, if anything. The good thing is that we are holding above that line. I am hoping that we do go revisit this area of about 2 pennies and 94% of a penny. And the next area we do need to get to, if I look at the data here, in the immediate time frame, let me check. Next area we do need to get to here is at about 2 pennies and 50% of a penny, and we need to hold that shit. And that would be within the green box that we're in. So it'd be somewhere around here, if anything. And that's getting data from the beginning on the upper portion of this freaking box that I did draw up. So give or take around here. This area. Boom. That's the area we would need to be at. Ballpark. Know what I mean? Is it a bad time to buy some PHEX? I would say no. It's not a bad time to buy PHEX, especially if you're not holding any. And if you are going to want to get anything in the Pulse Chain ecosystem, you monkeys are going to have to bridge your shit now because shit is expensive, son. Now, go over to Crypto Coffee's channel, review his channel. He does have some data as to how to bridge over without using the Ethereum bridge, because that'll be a lot cheaper for your pockets, cats. Now, again, I was talking to my homie Tex-Mex, and he had told me that it cost him close to about $400 by utilizing that bridge. That's how much the fees were, but that's hearsay. I have not tested it myself. I'm yet to use Spark Swap. Now, if we look at the chat that we do have here, Miss Cat, where's Miss Cat at? How you doing, Miss Cat? Cat's Kitchen. She went ahead and stated, hey guys, Spark Swap was very smooth. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was pretty squared away. I got to give that shit a try. Have you given it a try, Twinksters?
I have not. Most of my capital was bridged in previously and just kind of been sitting there DCAing some stuff on the Pulse Chain ecosystem. I did move some stuff through the bridge recently based on that whole EHEX crash. I just said, set it and forget it. I ain't got time to monkey around with some stuff. And yeah, just did that yesterday. So we'll see how it all ultimately plays out. Thanks for the support, Monkey. Let's see here. We got a question from Moonpilled on would there still be a better chance of a 10x plus X from its current price on EHEX?
Let me see if I can pull that up.
Here we go.
So would there be a better chance of 10x from its current price?
Yeah, so the good news is, right, like if you're looking to, let's say you cut bait on your position and you're potentially looking to get back in and roll the dice on that. Let me see if I see anything over here. Who's got the best liquidity for that on Ethereum?
Well,
it's probably Uniswap.
CloudSwap holds the most. I'm saying, I think, or of course Uniswap, but I have not been able to do any transactions on Uniswap, if anything, man. You know what I mean? With EHEX, even if I enter the contract address manually.
Small tip here for folks maybe who are trying to get to a place where they can transact with EHEX. on it. Alex on his Hedron site, he's got a Uniswap front end that he has running. So it's basically just
cool.
a Uniswap UI. It is. Let me pull up the official.
Pull it up, Twinkster, so I can share it here in the chat, man. I think that's very important data, bro.
Yeah, because it saved my 6 when I was like, I need something that works right now.
Oh, check this out. Look what Moonpool posted. He said, we did it on Spark from scratch tonight. It took 20 minutes and the fees were very low. Hey, man, that's some good information right there, homie. So Spark Swap may be something that we should use. Maybe I'll do a freaking 2-minute skit on it, bro. Release it as a Facebook freaking a YouTube freaking. No, it's not really a short, but a tiny YouTube short video. That way, you cats can learn how to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem too hard the way freaking Mr. freaking Coffee did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know there's like Portal X can do some stuff too, and I guess Richard posted about 10 minutes ago that there's a BNB bridge to Pulse Chain. It is Tokens Express, but the link is tokensex.link.
And Richard posted that?
Yeah, it's on Richard's Twitter right now.
Can you pull that up as well so we can show the
cats? Yeah. Let me share my screen here.
Yeah, all that shit's good information, man. Whatever can get you guys cheap fees, if anything, dude. You know what I'm saying?
So this is the BNB bridge he was mentioning.
Apparently, these BNB press token is legit. Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Tokens Express, but it's Token Sex.
Okay, cool. Token Sex.
Yeah.
.link is legit. Cool.
Yep. So this is Alex's front end on his Uniswap front end on it. So
drop it in the private chat, Twinksters.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can give it to these cats. So this is an option you guys can use if you guys want to get some e-hacks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because again, the contract, as long as that pool is good to go, then you know, it just makes a convenient front end to interact with.
So I mean, and Alex has been posting stuff up based on what he's going to do with Hedron and shit like that. I do know that Alex, what he did want to do, man, is he wanted to go ahead and provide a feature within his Hedron website to stake e-hex. And then, of course, he's changed his mind since what Richard said. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Let's see here. 0.00.
You're gonna pull something else up, Twinksters?
No, I just wanted to, give like a fairly direct, like yes, no answer to that question of, potential 10x for Moonpill on that one.
Cool.
Let's see here. So there's still on one of the Uniswap pools, because it just still has liquidity in it. There's still 3.8 million of liquidity in there. 10x would be up to what, about 4 cents from where it's sitting at right now. I mean,
now on that Uniswap pool, is it pair Ethereum or is it USDC?
USDC.
So that's what you would guys use, so you don't get wrecked with too much.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Minimize some of the fees and overhead on that one. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to happen. It is. It looks like it's possible on paper, and given where it's at, and especially if it drops further, then I would potentially throw a scratcher bet on it. The good news is, given how far down it's come, a small scratcher bet can pay significant dividends if it runs up.
Yeah, so that's cool. All right, cats. Now I know you guys want to know about the fragrance of the day. I had bought a couple of decants on Fragrance Marketplace on Facebook. So especially when it comes to the niche fragrances, they're a little bit more freaking expensive, if anything. So I try to get a decant, that way I could smell it, because you're not going to find it at your local Macy's, especially if it's a niche fragrance or some of the ones that are not designer. And one of the ones that I really enjoyed was Rocha Elysium. And let me show you guys which one I'm talking about. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm not showing you the bottle. And that's because I don't own the bottle. I was considering buying it. It ran me for about, I think, $190 for this one. And I got to say, it does smell amazing. Rocha Elysium does smell amazing. Main accords are citrus, aromatic, woody, fresh, and spicy. And then you can see that the amber, green, fruity, earthy, and animalic, they start lightening up a little bit. So the main notes are going to be these top ones. And I really like this fragrance. I think it's off the chain. But I do have a problem with it. I am completely against buying a niche fragrance and paying freaking top dollar, and the motherfucker only lasts 30 minutes, bro. I mean, why? I mean, I may as well just carry that bottle with me everywhere I go and just freaking sniff the bottle if I want to smell what it smells like, because technically you don't have a fragrance if it freaking evaporates on your body pretty damn quick. So what I went ahead and I did some research, and I found some freaking clones that smell pretty much the same to it, but last longer. And that is none other from the House of Dua. And I got one called Supernova. And it is a copy of Rochas Elysium. It is a 30 ml bottle, and it ran me for about $75. Let me show you guys where that sucker is at, because you guys are going to want to pick this up. This is one of my favorite fresh fragrances, even though it's not my favorite fresh fragrance. And this is what it looks like. They have 20 in stock, and it runs for about $75. That's a lot cheaper than what you would pay for an actual niche fragrance. And this sucker lasts on my clothes at least 3 days. So careful on the overspraying. I would do no more than 5 sprays on this sucker. It is extremely fresh. I've gotten a lot of compliments with Roja. Of course, I haven't had compliments with this one because I've only had it for 2-3 days. 3 days, because it stayed on my clothes for 3 days. And I'd highly recommend Supernova. So for you cats that do want to get your hands on this one, let me go ahead and drop this shit in the chat. That way you guys can pick it up. Nellyville, you will love this. This thing is amazing. And I think you will get a lot of compliments with this bad boy. You know what I'm saying? There you go, cats. And that is the fragrance of the day. One of my favorite ones. Boom. That was a fragrance, son. All right. Twinksters.
What's up?
Were you going to show anything? I wanted to move on to Oath.
No, I don't have anything significant to show on Hex. I think we've belabored that one plenty.
Cool. Now, this is currently the value of Oath. We are at about 4 pennies and 22% of a penny. We have created a new all-time high on Oath within Velodrome. Of course, I'm not taking into account what Oath used to be mostly on Phantom. That chart is different, and there's not much liquidity on Phantom, if anything. So I come over to Velodrome to pick up some Oath. Now, the day that it ended up freaking dipping, dog, was here on February 28th, dude. And I had no dinero to throw into the market. And then it did a Giga Chad run with scaffolding, homie. Well, what else can you ask for? You know what I'm saying? And if I measure from the bottom of when it dumped all the way to the top, you're talking about 45% gain, give or take, man. And it did compromise freaking resistance to the upside. First area being within this box. So it beat this area here of about 3 pennies and 22% of a penny. Then it beat the other area of about 3 pennies and 38% of a penny. And then it beat the other 2 areas, one being at 3 pennies and 75% of a penny. And it beat the last area, which was its all-time high. And that was about 4 pennies, 0.2. We did compromise that. And it does seem that we are currently at about what? I think it broke its 20-day cycle. We could count this as the bottom, but if I take this measurement tool, if that bottom is correct, we're barely on day number. Dude, we're barely on day number 1, bro, because that was yesterday, if anything. So if I pull this sucker out all the way to day 14, you're talking about March 25th, when we could end up getting another minor dip on it, or maybe over here on the 21-day mark, which is April 1st. Now, Twinksters, you said you had some data on this shit, man, as to why it may be rallying so hard. You want to drop that alpha on us?
Yeah, so I think, part 1 is potentially liquidity bonding on some of this stuff. Number 2 is the Oath team announced that they will have 2 new chapters, which again, that's what they're referring to, these projects where they license out or assist with the technology stack. So the most recent first one was the Aurelius project on Mantle. The Byte Masons or the Oath Foundation team have indicated they have 2 more. They said before the end of the quarter, which would actually be this month. I'm thinking if they truly meant this quarter, else next quarter, and then okay, let's just say over the next 4 months. But as written, it was this quarter on that front. So that was the big one on that front. Also on the Oath Discord, they were saying they've got some airdrops coming for folks who have the bonded Oath staked out. looks like it's going to be related to the Aurelius project over on Mantle as well. So I'm not saying it's Aurelius token, but some sort of airdrop related to that project.
Yeah, I dropped when Ink rallied for me, bro. I went ahead and I pulled Ink and I threw it into Oath, man. I think that was a good move, but I think, dude, I think you ought to stay with Ink, bro. But then again, it is somewhat of a meme coin. It doesn't have any utility yet, aside from dumping it on the market, dude. That's the only utility it does have. But I went ahead and I dumped it and I got me some Oath. I'm pretty much done buying Oath. I think it's going to do very well. I'm just hoping it comes back over to the Phantom side, if anything.
Yeah, we'll see what the Oath team has planned for that.
Yeah, I concur. So now, Kat, I've got another token I haven't talked about in a while, which is at a decent value, I think. Yeah, it is at a decent value. And we're going to cover a little bit of GameFi. No, it's not Illuvium what we're going to cover, but Jewel. Jewel's current value is at 29 cents. And it does seem from where Jewel is at, it's already established its its last cycle, and that was yesterday. Of course, we are in a UTC candle, and we are holding above this purple box, and its value is at about 29. So if you do get some Jewel, you basically, if it doesn't dip anymore, and I don't think it will, because this area is a pretty strong area of support. You know what I'm saying? I think Jewel's going to do pretty damn good. I think it's probably going to rally up over here to about 41 cents, if anything. So if you cats haven't gotten some Jewel, this is not financial advice, by the way, and this is only speculation. We could see Jewel end up rallying to the top side. Now, let's activate the EMA ribbon. And the good news on it is that the EMA ribbon does have itself as support on the daily for Jewel, and Jewel is bouncing off of that. So we could expect it to come up over here, back up to 41 cents. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't know, that one of the expansions on Jewel is actually on AVAX, and that is Crystal Veil. And I think the other one is on Clayton, which is Serendale. And hopefully they end up launching on another freaking coin, which would be pretty freaking dope. I'd love to have these cats over on Pulse Chain. I think that'd be gangster. But it does seem we're starting a new cycle, and it may entail that we start rallying to the upside. You know what I'm saying? As far as the EMA ribbon goes on this sucker, let's check it out with not the EMA ribbon, but the Bollinger Band. Dude, we've got ways to run. We've got at least percentage-wise, if it does occur, we could run at least 58% till we hit this third standard deviation on the Bollinger Band. So this is one of the other tokens you guys can end up getting. If you guys got some dry powder left, this is something that you can possibly use to cultivate some of your crypto. And speaking about cultivating crypto, I was telling my homies that wanted a dump. Well, I wasn't telling them. I just mentioned it to them. Like, hey, dude, if you're not sure about EHEX, you want to get rid of it, maybe you can put half of your bag in AVAX, bro. Because AVAX wasn't rallying for a while. And then today we got this damn big ass GigaChad candle, and you could tell that we were just oscillating sideways. Can you see the AVAX chart, Twinksters?
Yeah. I got one quick comment though on the Jewel side of things. So DeFi Kingdoms had an announcement last week that they're going to be replacing the Jade emission-based rewards with updated staking incentives, and we're starting the rollout of that on Serendale last week. So if you're in the DeFi Kingdoms projects, please go check out their Discord for some relative updates. I haven't checked their Medium to see if they reposted everything to Medium as well. A long story short here is they want to continue incentivizing liquidity providing. So they introduced a new reward system where 10% of in-game fees were going to be distributed to active stakers, but you had to migrate and stake your LPs into a new contract. So
Okay.
Yeah, that was starting
on AVAX side or on Serendale side?
That was Jade, and I don't remember which
Jade
one.
is on Serendale side. So yeah,
Yep.
You're talking about the Clayton side.
Yep. So if you're a Jewel token, Jewel token holder, then you might need to go look at that, especially if you provided any sort of Jewel related LP.
So there you go, cats. They are. I mean, the thing about Jewel, even though it did dump significantly, bro, I think their team, bro. Oh my gosh, bro, that screwed up bad because they wanted to nerf their Gen 0 heroes or their Gen 0 NFTs by increasing the breed schedule with their Gen 0s, meaning that they could breed faster And of course, for you guys that know, the Gen Zeros, they don't really lose the amount of breeds. They can infinitely breed, but there's a time span as to how many times they can breed. And they wanted to nerf it and make it up to like a day or something like that, which would really freaking take a dump on the Gen 1s that they would create. So a lot of the people voted against that, and I'm glad they voted against that. And that's when we saw freaking the value of Jewel start to freaking go back up, bro, because people were freaking pissed because of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's deets on freaking Jewel. If anything, you got anything else to drop on that, Twinksters?
No, that was the big one. Just wanted to make sure people were aware of those some of those changes over there.
Yeah, man. And large in charge here. I know this cat's big time. Tapatio, bro. Freaking large and in charge, bro. Put the Tapatio bottle on there, dog. And that's a badass salsa, dude. Well, I thought that was funny, Twinksters. I'm sorry, I couldn't hold myself, man. Let's go back to the AVAX chart, cats. So yeah, yesterday AVAX pumped pretty down, freaking large in charge. Yeah, wait. I guess I get it, man, because I'm Mexican, dog. Know what I'm saying? So yesterday we got a pretty big bullish engulfing candle, bro, and it was oscillating sideways. I did. I mean, that's what I told my homie to do. I didn't tell him to do that, but I told him this is what I would do if I wanted to get rid of my EHEX. I put it into AVAX, and you can either get a position on AVAX or you can go ahead and use it to cultivate your crypto, man. And I'm glad that we compromised this area of about 50.75. So this would be more of a right translated cycle because we beat this day out here on December 24th, 2023. That's when we got a high of about $50 flat. And currently we're at $50.74, son. And the high today was $50.92. So that may mean that we are probably, let's measure this sucker. So from here to here, we are at about day 18 of its 20-day cycle. So it should be due to dump a little bit and possibly even compromise this yellow area and stay above 50.24 before it starts scaffolding back to the upside. Next area it does need to get to is about 98.19. Let me check the history on this. No, I take that back. We do have a little bit of battles that we do need to conduct here at about $67.02. So let me grab a ray here. Boom. $67.58. Then the next area would be at about $81. So AVAX is looking bullish, man. I think this token is going to do pretty damn well. I think it's Phantom's one of direct competitors, but I think a lot of gaming has been migrating over to AVAX, which is a cool thing. You know what I'm saying, you got anything?
Yeah, they've kind of established themselves as a gaming chain in my mind. They seem to be attracting a lot of attention on that front. As far as Phantom, I'll probably cover a little bit this week and send you some intel on this one. I want to acknowledge that Phantom did present at ETH Denver the other week. A lot of chatter about Sonic. As a heads up to any Phantom holders, of which I am thrilled. I am one. I've been very pleased with how that's been shaping up and how they've been recovering, coming back from just the carnage that the multi-chain bridge hack ended up inducing. They did talk about having an upcoming airdrop campaign for the Phantom ecosystem. And that was from the chief tech and I think CEO of the Phantom Foundation, chief tech officer and CEO.
That Andre Cronje cat?
No. Let me go pull his name up.
I'm just,
Michael Kong.
Yeah, freaking Michael Kong, dude. Freaking Michael Kong, dude. I've said it time and time again. That cat needs to pull his head out of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah. I get
Mark with freaking dollar sign. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, whatever. If he makes me mad gains, I'll allow it.
Yeah, man. It's just that, dude. I mean, Phantom in itself hasn't really been hacked. The multi-chain bridge wasn't really hacked. It's just that the people he was dealing with at multi-chain ended up taking the freaking funds and they ran with it, if anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just this choice of the people he picks to work with, man, that really end up taking a dump on a lot of the freaking Phantom holders. You remember that Grim Finance shit that ended up occurring, bro? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that breach over there. The multi-chain thing, we'll see how it ultimately plays out. I know Phantom won their lawsuit against multi-chain. Good luck.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a legal victory. Good luck. You still got to collect.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'm hoping that they keep their head on straight, bro, from now on forward. You know what I'm saying?
There
And
was
Large and Charges make a point. A bull run will forgive Kong's sins. I hope so, man. I hope so, man. Dude, look, I love the pulse chain ecosystem, bro. Pulse chain ecosystem is, of course, man, dude. That's where all my hexagons are at. But Phantom, bro, I've always loved freaking the marketing on Phantom. I thought was pretty. The whole freaking Halloween thing, I think, was great. I think that all the liquidity pools they had were amazing last bull run, Twinkie. They were amazing. The tomb forks and all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
and they're starting to come back. Yeah, the Phantom ecosystem was very good to me last bull run. That was it saved my ass in a lot of ways that last run because I definitely was a little too green and didn't play the end of 21, 22 well. But Phantom really offset a lot of that and kept me in the game.
Yeah, man. So I'm hoping they come back, and I'm hoping they have the total value locked more than anybody else the way they did last time, because I know they had the most total value locked on DeFi Llama. And I hope they continue doing the same, man. It's just, dude, freaking Kong, bro. Dude keeps screwing up with the people he chooses to work with. You know what I'm saying? And then Dia de los Muertos should be excellent for Mexicans. I'm assuming that has something to do, bro, on Phantom. I'm saying, yeah, that's in Phantom.
Yeah, Large, I know a little bit about the Hefe token. So heads up, watch your ass if you use any sort of tax calculator on that, because I use Coinly and it was getting confused between, I think, Hefe V2 and Hefe V3. I got to tell you, I woke up to a real interesting surprise last week where all of a sudden Coinly's telling me I have hundreds of millions of dollars in my possession. And I was like,
wait.
do you know something I do not? So basically, it was getting confused between the Hefe V2 contract and the Hefe V3 contract. Hefe V3 contract has substantially less, thus price per token is significantly higher on that. And it was confusing. It was giving me V3 pricing on V2 assets, and there's just way, way more supply on Hefe V2. It's so.
Oh, wow, man.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
dude.
For a minute
So
there,
is
I was like,
V3 a different token then? Does it have a different contract?
I believe it does have a different contract on that. So it's not just like a 1-for-1 drop. It's like different circulating supply, different contract.
And that's not the one you get awarded when you're freaking staking XBOO, right?
It might be. The one I got for the duration I was staked was definitely V2. I'd have to take a look at it and see if it's like a separate staking pool on that.
Yeah, man, that Hefe token, bro, dude, it's worth like, I haven't made any bank on that shit, bro. I'm saying.
No, there's just way too much supply. It's virtually meaningless and useless. There might be something else in the future that is useful. Yeah. So yeah, Large. Yeah, just watch out for that, because if you're not paying attention to that and you go to do your taxes, all of a sudden, surprise, you owe taxes on hundreds of millions of dollars you never got.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, bullshit. I'm paying. I'm saying I ain't that rich, son. I wish I had those types of freaking problems. I'm saying
soon. Hopefully,
right?
2025. Ideally sooner.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go on to Pepe. And can you see the Pepe chart there, Twinksters?
Yes.
All right. Pepe has been kind of oscillating sideways, which is badass. I like it when it does that. Of course, if I grab my drawing tool, you can see that we came up here. We did a little bit of a scaffolding thing here for 3 days, and now we are about 4 days of scaffolding. I'm hoping we get at least a week of scaffolding before we continue rallying to the upside, instead of just freaking a couple 2 days here and there. And that would make Pepe a lot more freaking bullish, if anything. Now, Twinksters, while I talk about this, can you pull up the total market cap on Pepe, if anything? And again,
Sure.
Cat's current value of about Pepe is 5 zeros and an 8.7. I am hoping that it comes up over here to this area, which I drew up an arrow on, and that's at 1.618 of its Fibonacci. And the reason I chose that area is because if I activate my Bollinger Band system, it's very close to the third deviation on the Bollinger Band. And that's an area where I would probably take a little bit of profit. For you cats that don't know, at this value where we're at right now, the little that I had put into Pepe made me a good amount of dinero, and I used that about half of my bag, because I used half of my bag. I didn't want to dump it all, and I threw it into Illuvium, and I got a good amount of Illuvium before it rallied, and the following day it rallied, so I'm so proud of myself because of that shit. But we are currently, believe it or not, at price discovery with Pepe. Because if I turn this off, you could see, if I put this on the weekly, you could see that, yeah, we got these Giga Chad candles to the upside. And I'm not a fan of just going green all the way to the freaking top. I like it to go green and red, green and red, green and red. But that's what we got, and that's what we got to work with. Twinksters, you got that data?
Yeah. So Pepe total fully diluted market cap as of this writing is 3.6 billion. This is Pepe on Ethereum.
3.6 billion.
Yes, sir.
And what about SHIB?
Sure. Let me take a look on that one. Let me pull up.
I guess what I'm trying to add here, guys, is I'm trying to show that if Pepe becomes the narrative this freaking cycle for the meme tokens, to see what it's capable of doing, man. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, SHIB is at about 19.7, approaching 19.8 billion currently.
Okay, could it go? Let me see if I can pull this. Boom. Pull this sucker up. I've never done this before. Okay. Let me see. No, I can't get this to work, man. The orange line is supposed to, okay, the orange line is supposed to represent SHIB where it's at on KuCoin. I'm not getting it to work, cats. Should have practiced this shit before we went live with this. You know what I'm saying? But you can see this is supposed to represent the value of SHIB. And it's up to, it's 653% above SHIB's current freaking pump rate. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting from this immediate data as far as Pepe goes, compared to what SHIB's been doing as of late. I was going to have that chart ready for you cats, but I didn't get to draw out the freaking cycles on it, the 20-day cycles on that sucker. But this is what currently Pepe looks like. And hopefully we continue rallying to the upside, if anything. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, homies. Monkeys, make sure you guys like the video, share the video, subscribe to our to this channel, subscribe to Twinkie's channel. Twinkie, when is your next stream that you're planning to knock out?
Yeah, definitely. Now that I'm back home after a fascinating time at Pulse Chain, the Pulse Chain tour, met a lot of nice folks, and beyond that, got to protect.
Tell us about your Vegas trip. We want to know.
Yeah. So basically, let's see here. I will protect the innocent. Got off the plane and dropped my bags, and then ran over to Top Golf to do some meet and greets with some people. Shout out to the Pulse Chain Tour people, RG3, SJ, and Black Hexagon on RG3 and his crew over there, getting all that set up. A lot of work went into that. I thought the events were solid. Top Golf was good. Food was actually surprisingly good at Top Golf. I've been to Top Golf for a number of different corporate events for my daytime hustle. That was by far and away the best food I've had at Top Golf that evening.
What did you consume?
They had some sliders, like these mac and cheese balls. Shout out to Black Hexagon for strongly recommending the injectable DIY donuts. It was like a syringe of different fillings, and you would like make your own donut. It was actually really cool.
That shit would obliterate my diet, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You only live once, or so I hear. We'll see if that whole purgatory thing is real. Anyway, so yeah, got to do a bunch of meet and greets. Thursday, I took most of the day off for myself. Wanted to do a little bit of guitar shopping. Didn't find anything I liked. Met up with Zenith from the DGen Roundtable. Hung out a bit on that front, and then Friday we went to the seminar all day, which was great. Got to see some different pitches from up and coming Pulse Chain projects. I believe the winning project was a liquid staking solution. Project Pi is the team on that one. I don't recall their link off the top of my head, but we'll slap it in as a comment or a show note or something to give them some credit. But they were the grand prize winner on that Tour Stops award on that front. A lot of interesting conversations. RG3 was saying, hey, Hexagon community, maybe it's time to put away the claws and fangs. We got to onboard some people. And I was saying, RG3, that was nice to hear somebody say that. I'm a little more coin agnostic. I'm not necessarily an RH maximalist. But in my opinion, it doesn't need to be or. Maybe the RH tokens are the best performing asset this cycle, but at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be an or. It can be an and. I can like RH projects and like Ethereum as a whole and like things like Solana and DOT.
Yeah, I concur, man. I concur.
And Axis, that guy's gigabrained. So that was fun getting a chat with him for a bit.
I wish I would have picked that cat's brain, man. I wish I'd gone out there with you. Speaking of which, yesterday, guys, we were actually supposed to have the stream yesterday. And I mean, I love it here in the United States. I think it's great here, man. But damn, dude, freaking vets here, bro. And I'm not talking about veterans. I'm talking about veterinarians, bro. They will freaking go. They will freaking money grab your freaking wallet, bro, for taking your damn dog to the vet. And I needed some freaking flea medication for my doggos. And they mandated, of course, they mandate if you want to get that heart guard and stuff like that, you got to go see the vet to get it. So I was like, screw that shit. So I decided to go to Mexico yesterday. And I went and I bought the pills over there for my doggo. And I ate too much. I ate way too much. So I couldn't come on stream yesterday, dude. I was freaking bedridden all day long. And I called Twinksters and I was like, nah, dog, I ain't going to be able to make it tonight, homie. And then everybody and their mother was messaging me about what was going on with Richard and shit. Like, dude, I cannot answer right now, bro. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that ended up freaking happening. Now, Large in Charge, you did mention something about Dia de los Muertos. I don't know if you're on Twitter, man. Hit me up. I want to ask you about that shit. Or hit me up on Telegram within the Citadel or the freaking Crypto Mindset course freaking chat we got. Hit me up there, man. I want to talk to you about that shit, if anything, man. And then he's asking me, how long was the wait at the border? Not that bad, man. Not that bad. I went on foot. So I crossed over to Mexico. I got the medications I needed. And now my doggo, he's got his flea medication, man. You know what I'm saying? Because here in the United States, bro, it's a cash grab with the freaking veterinarians, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for the orals on that, I got my guy on an oral. I'm up in the Northeast though, so heartworm is definitely a little bit more of a concern as our ticks up here. So I've got him on a Simparica trio for heartworm, flea, and tick.
Yeah, I get you, man. I get you, bro. Well, here where I'm at in Texas, man, we go through a lot of drought, bro. So, I mean, yeah, we do get mosquito problems here and there, bro. But for the most part, it's not really an issue here. I mean, there is some problems with heartworm and stuff like that. I mean, keep your fingers crossed. Knock on wood. I want my doggos to end up having those types of problems. I've only had one doggo pass away from that heartworm problem, and it's freaking expensive, dude. If you don't have them protected for that prematurely, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Where can we find you at, Twinksters?
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks. At Mr. Angry Twinkie on Telegram and socials. Again, was traveling last week, so back in this week. I'm going to talk a little bit, I think, about the ETH Denver stuff. We'll talk a little bit about some Phantom stuff. Hey, OG, thanks for tuning in. Talk a little bit about some guitar playing, and I'll probably mention a few other aspects of that Pulse Chain tour. If anyone has one near them, I certainly encourage people just to go and get known amongst the community out there. I know there's some folks maybe who don't like to hop on camera, but in general, I found the Mexican community very warm, welcoming, likes to have a good time. And it was great. It was great. I certainly encourage everyone to go.
Yeah, awesome. Guys, again, I can't be more redundant on this. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to my channel. YouTube is freaking throttling me because I have these tools in the back, and I would like to continue coming out here on YouTube and helping you guys out with whichever data I've got, man. So get me to 1,000 subscribers, Cat. Get Twinkie over to 1,000 subscribers because, I mean, if we both grow, you guys make bank off of us. So, and this is not financial advice, but it is educational data that you guys can utilize. You know what I'm saying? And I will catch you guys on the flip side. Hit the ending, Twinksters.